Hello everybody, welcome to episode 15 of Making an Online Pokemon Game. In this episode, as promised, we're going to be looking into adding a little more assets to our game to make it look a little nicer. Last time we worked on collisions, so I can show that off real quick. Let me change this quickly. I was testing a different online game, so that's why that was changed. But we have collisions working here. We can move around and we can not collide with the red bounding boxes. So the first thing we should do is add in our object collider, go add event, create event, and we're basically going to say if we are the client, we're just going to destroy ourselves. We don't need to see any of these colliders as the client, only the server cares. So I'm just going to say if, and how did we do this again? This was something like network control dot is client. Then I can simply just do instance destroy. And while I'm here, I should I don't like having to do this. This should really be on the network side itself, not the network controller. So I guess we could probably do something like that. If we go to the object network control in the create event, so the way we determine if we're the client is by doing this whole this thing right here and all this. So I'm going to take everything from this create event and I'm just going to do control X on this to cut it and then go into my network. And I'm going to create a function here called init. I'll put it before prime reader. So init equals a function. And I'm going to paste all of that code in. Make sure to align this. Make sure to align everything properly. And then in here, I can say is client equals false. That way it's declared in the network itself. So what does this all do? This first determines if this is a client or not. And I can get rid of this line of code. So we determine if we have the parameter for a client and then set it to true if there is a parameter. And then we deal with all of the initialization stuff. So I can save that and go back into object network controller. And instead of doing it here, I'm just going to say network.init. And now everything, or that variable at least, should be stored on the network, and so everything should be initialized on the network. This will probably cause some issues. Anywhere where we say is client is probably going to be wrong. So like here it says if is client, this should be now network.isClient. I'm going to copy network so that I can change it easy. And I could like here again, network.isClient, then we do that. Network.isClient. What I should do is do control shift F really and like search for anywhere where it says is client. And let's find it. Let's just see everywhere we use it. How do I do this? So right here we have this, that needs to be network is client. Here network is client. And I'm just going to go through everywhere where we say is client and make sure it's network.isClient. And I think maybe that's everywhere. Nope. We have another one in the step event that I missed. Then this is all on the network side, and that's everything. Okay, should be good now. So now in the object collider, again, we are destroying ourselves if we are the client because, again, the client doesn't need to see it. So if I run this again now, and I run the player, or the client, you'll see we don't see any of the red bounding boxes, but we still can't move to any of the edges because, again, it's handled on the server side, not the client side. So again, the client doesn't need to know. Alright, now if you go into where you download Pokemon Essentials, for me, where is that? Right here. You go into your Pokemon Essentials, go into it, go into your graphics, and it's going to be under Tilesets, find outside.png. You can do any one you wanted to, but I'm just going to do the outside one. I already have it in, if you remember. I put it in the terrain last time. Here's that sprite. It's just I didn't even change the name. And you can leave everything how it is on this. nothing needs to be changed. And then what you're going to do is right click in the asset browser and you're going to create a tile set. So Alt B, go to there and you'll have this tile set. And I'll just show you how to do it quickly, and then I already did some of this stuff, so I'll just show you how to do it once and then you can do the rest on your own. So create that tile set, drag in that outside sprite into it. We're going to change the dimensions. So if you go to the right here, instead of 16 by 16, this should be 32 by 32. That's the same size as all the assets in Pokemon Essentials. And then you're going to go into the left and click auto tiling, and auto tiling is kind of these little sections here where you have like dirt, grass, sand, and it allows you to very easily draw onto the room editor instead of having to hand pick every single image that you need. So these ones, I always skip the first one on Pokemon Essentials because I really don't know how to tile this one properly. So if you want to use these top ones, you'll have to do it by hand, but these ones are pretty easy. All these like dirt, sands, and all that. So I'll do gravel just to show you guys because it seems like it would be the easiest to see. So you're going to click the plus on 47. We don't need a 16 tile, just a 47. And you're essentially going to fill in everywhere that you need to. Anywhere where it is gray, that is going to be the material itself. So in this case, the gray would be the full gravel. And then anywhere where it's light gray, that's going to be the grass section. So unfortunately, these assets aren't in the same format that GameMaker uses, so you'll have to do some thinking to figure out where everything is. So for instance, this one, the top left corner is grass while everything else is gravel. So that would be this cell right here. If you see, everything is gravel except the top left corner. You can click that. This one's for the top right corner. This one has the two top middle edges as grass, which is this bottom middle one. Bottom right is there. And then these are the two diagonals have to be grass. You can find those on the right. So right here, two right edges there. The top three corners is going to be down here. This one has all the three corner edges one, so that one right there. And then yeah, you can just go through and find them all in order to create your auto tiles. And you can do it all the way down as many as you want, or you could just do a few at a time as you need them. So yeah, just go through, add them, and that should be fine. And then what you're going to do after that, and I already have one, so I'm just going to delete this tile set because I already made a tile set, and I believe I have some, I have some auto tiling done already on a few of them, so I'm just going to leave this how it is. Except for this one, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but that's fine. So what you do next is go to your brush builder here, and you're going to create a brush like this, and I'll just remove this so that we can do it together. So if you scroll down to your trees, this is what we want, our trees. We're going to essentially create 3 brushes, and I don't know the actual proper way to do this. Just seems to work for me. So drag up on these top 3 trees right here, these 4, and just place them down. And this is going to be kind of your fill section, so where you go to fill in trees. And then you're going to need these 4 top right here, because that is the top of the tree. And you're not going to put it right at the top. Add a space between this section and this section. And then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. So take these 2 bottom ones and put them down and add a space between. This is going to make it a lot easier to add in trees into our room. So we can close this tile set down now. Once you have all of those made, go into your client room, and then we're going to add these tiles. So the first tile set we'll need is, so on the left, you get your asset, create new tile layer. We're going to have 3 layers. The first layer is going to be our grass. And I'm going to put this below the instances because I just like to. Create another one. This is going to be, ooh, that was loud. This is going to be for our paths, and then I'll just do one more for the trees. So essentially our bottom layer, our middle layer, and our topmost layer. And I could create a new folder for these if I wanted to and add these under the tiles. And yeah, I'll just drag those in there. That should be good. So go to your grass layer now, and we're going to go into on the right where it says no tile set, set it to that tile set we just created. So find your tile set and just click it, and that should be fine. And we're just going to fill in the whole thing with this grass. So you can just click it, press the F button. That'll automatically at the top set it to the bucket tool. So you press F and then you can click and fill the entire thing with just plain grass. If you want, you can go to the pencil tool and select some of these other ones and just like, I don't know, click and drag to change the tiles like randomly. Add some detail if you want, doesn't really matter too much. Here we go. And I'm gonna hide this instances layer for a second because I don't want to see any of those the red solids right now. We'll add those in afterwards. So yep, that should be fine. Go into your paths now, and we'll do the same thing. We're gonna add in that tile set for paths. And for paths, go to your libraries here, these 3 tabs. You want to go to your libraries, and these are the tile sets that we created. So here we have, I call this disturbed grass. If you just click it, you can click and drag and add in these paths. I wonder if this works. So it does work if you turn off the grid. So I'll just keep the grid off for a second so we can see better. And where did I get created? So I get created right here. This is where the player starts. So I'll add some paths right where we start. And maybe we could have like a little path that goes off. I don't know. You can add details if you want. This isn't the most important step. This is just to get something working. At the top right here, you can change the size. You guys probably know how to use these tools a lot better than I do. I don't use these tools very often ever. But anyway, now just add in whatever you want. I'll just add in some dirt as well around here. Just to have all the tiles. And then you're going to go to your trees layer, and I'll show you how to add trees now. So under trees, you're going to do the same thing. Add that tile set, the same one. But this time, go to your brushes. And if you look at the bottom here, we have these 3 brushes. And the reason you add that space between them is because now you can easily just click any of the 3 and it'll automatically select them. So you don't have to like try and like, I don't know, select just the individual ones. You just click it and it'll automatically do it. So to fill in the trees, just click the middle section here, the one that has the top and the bottom. And you can just click and just drag. And it's easy as that. So we'll go into there, add in some trees down here. Fill this in a little more. And then when you're kind of happy, you can add in some details by adding in the tops of the trees, like this. And you can do the same thing with the bottom of the trees. Whoops, undo that. And there we go. That looks pretty good. You'll get some issues sometimes. I guess we're not going to this time, where sometimes like tiles will like break. You just got to figure out how to fix them. Again, I'm not the best with it. So go to your instances now. We could show it, and I still don't know what this bar is for. Whoa, okay. I guess it's gone now. It'll probably come back later. But anyway, we can change these solid layers, go back to the grid, and we can click and drag them to add in where we want our bounds to be. So I'm just going to quickly move these around. If they overlap like this, that is totally fine. Because of the way it works, it won't affect anything in the server side. For these tiles here, like the trees, the top of the trees, it gets a little weird. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I believe the solid would end right there. And then I'll need to add in, go back to my assets and add in more colliders. One there. Oh, did not mean to rotate that. And this can be a little finicky. We could add in later a script that automatically generates these colliders if we wanted to. You would just basically iterate over the tile layer and find anything that you deem to be a collider and then just create that collider. But for now, this is fine. I don't mind having to do a little work in the room editor. But now we can just run the game and everything should be looking pretty good. So let's run that client, and let's just run 2 clients. Might as well. We haven't done that in a while. Alright, so we should be able to come here and we can't move into the trees. You'll notice that our player is ginormous compared to the trees. That is because our player is still scaled up quite a lot more than it should be when we draw it. We could probably fix that quickly. You'll also notice that we appear above the trees instead of below the trees. That's due to the layering stuff. So what I could do is I'm going to close all this, and maybe putting this in a folder wasn't the best thing. Perhaps our trees should just be above, but that doesn't seem right. Let me create a new asset layer. Actually, we'll create it the above layer. So this will be everything that should be appeared above the player, which basically just means the top of the trees. So what I could do is go to my eraser under trees, and we'll erase all these tops. There we go. Go to my above now and go into the room editor, add that tile layer, and we'll add the trees in here under brushes. Go to my pencil tool. So now everything on this layer should appear above the player instead of below the player. The other thing we need to fix is the scaling. Like I said, our player is scaled up way too much. So I believe we do that under the player data. So if we go to player data, somewhere in here we are actually rendering the player. So, yep, so we have this render function, and this renders the player, and we're multiplying it by 2.5, so I'm going to change that to 1 instead, and hopefully that's all I had to do. So if I run it again, you'll see now we look really tiny. That's okay though, because we should be tiny. I feel like something's wrong with the scale still though. I'm not sure what. We seem smaller than we should, if I'm being honest. Am I crazy? Are we smaller than we should be? Or is this the right size? Maybe we're not zoomed in enough. But I feel like we're also not in the right position. I'll have to look into this, but I feel like we're in the middle of the cell instead of the right of the cell. I'll have to look into that. And hey, what was that? I feel like I just jumped a little bit. Anyway, this was a very short episode. I just wanted to get these tiles in so that we could look at it. Next time, I will see if I can fix the scaling, see if there's something I'm doing wrong or if it's just because I'm so zoomed out. And then we're going to add in cameras so that we can be more zoomed in on the player and actually move around in the room. So yeah, there's that plug again. And that might have to do with the sizing thing, so I'll have to look into that. So anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later.